Back at it, back in it. Cody Hooper in the house. We're going through the lines on UFC 317, which is a freaking masterful card. Big fights coming. 2 title fights. Ilia Topuria moved up to light heavyweight, taking on Charles Oliveira, former champ, submission specialist, Brazil's own. El Campeon has a name, Charles Oliveira, going against the Matador, previous La Legenda, or La Legend, whatever you call it. We also have...
I love it.
Alexandre Pantoja, Kai Kara France, amongst a handful of other really great fights on this card. Renato Moicano, Beneil Dariush got remade here. Brandon Royval versus Josh Van. Josh Van on a 20-day turnaround after a masterclass over Bruno Silva. Payton Talbott, Felipe Lima on this card as well. A ton to go through. How you feel looking at UFC 317? Do you get big fight feel from this International Fight Week?
First off, I couldn't be happier to be back on Between the Lines. This is a fucking incredible card.
I don't mean to correct you there. It's a read between the lines.
That's my bad. Yeah, that's my bad. I couldn't be happier to be back on Read Between the Lines. This is a huge card. Sean Shelby and Dana cooked with this one. So much to go through and a ton of action.
Starting at the top, Ilia Topuria moving up to light heavyweight, former featherweight champion, took out Alexander Volkanovski, took out Max Holloway. Undersized for the division. Do you think that's going to be a problem here? Or how do you feel like he says he walks around, I think, 170. I saw an interview earlier this week on the Ariel Helwani show where he was talking about he expects his fight weight to kind of be between 170 and 180. I don't know how much. I mean, you look at him and he's not a huge guy, but putting on 30 pounds after the fact is kind of impressive that that's actually where his weight's going to be.
I don't know how much truth there is to that. Obviously, I don't walk around with the guy. That is a ton of weight to cut to get down to 145. So maybe this will be a better fit. We know he has really long arms. I'm excited to get into this fight.
I'm looking at this thing, and the first line that jumps out to me, the over/under is set at 1.5 rounds. Did you see that?
I did see that, and I did a little bit of looking into that. Ilia Topuria's average fight time is 10 minutes. His finish rate's incredible. Someone's either going to sleep or getting choked out in this fight, 100%.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. A 5-round fight. It's as low as humanly possible for the over/under here. So Vegas sees it being a finish. I know who I'm riding for. I don't know who you're riding for, but I got a little Spaniard riding in on a bull taking the lion out. Ilia Topuria. Yeah, I think he's got the juice. I don't know. There's just an aura to Ilia Topuria, the things that he's able to do to Max Holloway, knock him out. That was 4 rounds, speak of the devil. When we talk about his finish time, he did make it into the 4th round there, but this guy's been something special since entering the UFC. He's got a perfect record right now. And if nothing else, it's just exciting. Anytime Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, for that factor, in a fight, it feels fucking big.
Yeah, it feels huge. Ilia Topuria has 60% of his fights get finished in the first round. His striking's incredible. He's a better wrestler than a lot of people give him credit for. He just finished 2 legends. I think he fucking stinks. I think he's probably the most overrated UFC fighter. I don't think he deserves his title shot. He's just really good at fighting old men. I have him getting choked out in round 2 by fucking Bronx. Give me Charles plus 325 it is right now. Give me that every single day of the week.
He's really good at fighting old men. You just said it, but the fact is, Charles Oliveira is an old man. Probably the oldest outside of Volk. Max is younger than him.
Yeah, but he's Brazilian. Everybody in Brazil fights for fucking ever. So, what is he, 35, 36? That's 25, 26 in, our years. I just really don't see how Ilia wins this fight unless he knocks him out early.
And that's exactly how he does it, though. Knocks him out early. That is literally his specialty. Literally his specialty is knocking people out.
This is true, but he does. He has a slight advantage in the striking. If this fight goes to the ground, it's over with. Charles has the most finishes in UFC history. I just don't like this fight for Ilia Topuria. If you wanted to give him somebody who wants to stand and bang, that's fine. I think Charles takes this one to the ground and ends it pretty early.
Would you say that Ilia Topuria is a better grappler than Justin Gaethje?
Sorry, choke. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Uh,
Absolutely not. Justin Gaethje is a Division One wrestling All-American. He just doesn't use it because he wants to fight exciting fights. He wants to be your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. In no way, shape, or form is Ilia Topuria a better grappler than Justin Gaethje.
dude, you're fucking starting off some real wild takes. I don't even know how to take you seriously right now because this is fucking insane what you're talking about. I mean, Ilia Topuria has more submissions on his resume than Justin Gaethje has fucking wins, brother.
Yeah,
That
I
is a made up
understand that.
stat. It's a made up stat. 100% made up stat. Probably not true. Definitely not true. But he's a better grappler. And my point was going to be he's a better grappler than Justin Gaethje. He's a better grappler than Dustin Poirier. Who is Charles Oliveira? Respect to the guy. I'm a Do Bronx fan. I'm a Do Bronx rider. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. I'm saying he's a bad motherfucker and he deserves to be in this position. Because if it was Islam Makhachev, on the other hand, if Ilia Topuria never moved up, Charles Oliveira would still be in this fight. But Ilia's dual threat. When you're facing off, like you think about the guys that Charles has really dominated. It is a Justin Gaethje. It is a Dustin Poirier. Two guys that never, like rarely use any sort of submission or grappling specialty. Ilia Topuria has shown in multiple fights that he has that, including the Max fight where he took him down, including the Bryce Mitchell fight. I get different level, especially with Bryce Mitchell and Yusuf Zalal early in his career. Used a lot of that wrestling. As of late, he's definitely been hands first, but he's putting people to sleep, and we've seen Charles Oliveira get dropped multiple times, almost in every fight he's ever had.
Charles definitely gets dropped. Charles also gets dropped and knocks people the fuck out. I mean, or chokes them out. He got dropped in that Justin Gaethje fight. That fight didn't last much longer.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But do you think like Islam Makhachev dropped Charles Oliveira and was willing to go with him to the ground? I think Ilia Topuria is in that same boat. I think Ilia Topuria, if he drops and Charles just drops to his back, I don't think Ilia's going to just stand there and be like, all right, get back up. He may.
I would. I would. Going to the ground with Charles Oliveira is not been a good strategy for a vast majority of people. I don't have any confidence in Ilia's jiu-jitsu compared to Charles Oliveira, who might have the best jiu-jitsu of a successful UFC fighter ever.
Definitely, I mean, the highest of high levels. But to say Ilia stinks, brother?
I think he's the most overrated fighter in the UFC. He fought Max after he went to war with Justin Gaethje. He fought Volk when he was just in a weird spot. His chin wasn't back yet. I think he's done a great job of taking advantage of circumstance.
This war with Justin Gaethje was a 4-round blowout and a 5th-round knockout.
Hey, he still took hard shots from Justin Gaethje, who might be who definitely is one of the hardest hitters in the UFC.
You know who the hardest hitter in the UFC is? His name is Ilia Topuria.
I'm pretty sure his name's Poatan, but...
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Size difference, pound for pound, though? P for P?
Pound for pound?
Ilia Topuria's up there. I mean, Max has never been dropped before, and he got knocked the fuck out.
He did. It's just in a weird spot. He's done a great job of taking advantage of circumstance. I give this fight to Charles.
I can take that part. I'm in for that. I can take that part. But the slander is ridiculous, brother. You got to give the boy a little bit of props. I mean, this guy ran his way through 145, taking out Bryce Mitchell, Josh Emmett, Alexander Volkanovski into Max Holloway, 2 featherweight goats back to back. You could say the circumstances were bad, and sure, maybe there's some sustenance to that. I don't take the Max Holloway. I mean, Max Holloway just came off one of the best wins of his career. The best wins of his career. Alexander Volkanovski, I get it. Just got head kicked and then got knocked out cold. Sure.
We're going to see. If we're going to base it on history, I've picked fights pretty good on this show. I have built a solid reputation of a little bit of understanding how the UFC goes. If I look stupid finally, I'm cool with it. I feel incredibly confident on Charles Oliveira. I'm going to make my money here. It might pay my rent. Like, we're going to be chilling.
I love the fucking ego you have with your bets on this show, dog. It cracks me up, brother. I need to go back through the records and actually pull up. I need to actually pull up, get the stats for both. You're definitely better than me. 100%. You're wrong on this one because I got Ilia Topuria. I'll take minus 440. I don't give a fuck. Cleanest day,
Hey,
minus 440. You take it where you can. I actually think there's some value on the over here because we did talk about it's at 1.5 rounds. I think it goes longer than that, just because both these guys skill level. I think it definitely could go longer than that. And sometimes Ilia starts a little slow, kind of finding his range, especially at a bigger weight class with a bigger guy standing in front of him. And I think Charles is 100% live. I mean, speaking of Justin Gaethje, we saw Justin Gaethje said he's the hardest hitter he's ever been in front of.
Yeah, and Justin Gaethje hits hard himself.
So I'm not arguing that he's live. I just think Ilia Topuria is on a roll right now. I think it's his time. I think he's 29, 28, something like that. Charles is, although he had a storied career, his run to the title was fantastic. I think he's on the later half, Brazilian or not, the later half of his career. Was a champion. Since losing the championship to Islam Makhachev, has also lost to Arman Tsarukyan. The only win he has in between is Michael Chandler, who just got blown the fuck out by Paddy Pimblett. It's not like Michael Chandler win in this day and age. It definitely didn't age well at the time. Was a better, looked better than it does now. But I just think it's Ilia Topuria's time. And speaking of that, like post-fight, regardless of winner, I think 155 is in a weird position. Who do you think's next for the title shot, regardless of winner here? Do you think it matters who the winner is?
I do think it matters who the winner is. Let me backtrack here a little bit. Charles Oliveira said he was going to bring a title to the child that him and his wife had. I think it was last year. And he seemed pretty sure about it. I definitely think he's going to bring that title home to his baby. I take the man for his word. I do think the winner matters here. I don't think Islam would be very motivated to come back down to 155 to fight Charles again. I know Ilia talked about seeing if he could go up and fight Islam at 170 if he wins the belt. I don't think that makes any sense.
No.
But if I'm Islam and I beat JDM, I'm not motivated to fight Charles for the title. That fight didn't last long. It's not a real challenge there, and he cuts a fuckload of weight. I just think 170 would be.
Outside of a loss, I don't think Islam comes back down regardless. I don't think he's looking to cut that weight anymore. I mean, if he gets a win over JDM, he's now running 170, and there's a fuck ton of contenders there. I mean, there's literally 5 of them lined up. So I think that's just going to be new division, new life for Islam Makhachev. The backside of that is Arman Tsarukyan still sitting there.
Justin Gaethje's up next. Justin Gaethje's just up next.
No matter what?
Yeah, he's 100% up next. The Paddy Pimblett fight's not happening. Justin Gaethje, I mean, he just beat Fiziev. It was less close than the first fight was, but it still was a very close fight. Justin Gaethje's just up next. I know, but he's up next, man. He's just up next. I mean, who are you going to give it to?
You have Charles winning and then getting a Justin Gaethje rematch?
Indeed.
After a first-round finish, which you mentioned earlier, a first-round finish the first time?
Yeah, I think that rematch is happening, and I don't see why the UFC would.
For what reason? Why? Just because
if Justin Gaethje loses, he retires. Yeah, I mean, Justin Gaethje sells pay-per-views, and if Justin Gaethje loses, he retires. He's never held the undisputed belt. He's up next.
If we're talking about rematches, if Charles Oliveira wins and we're talking about rematches, the Arman Tsarukyan fight is so much better. Just simply a better
Dana
fight.
Dana doesn't like him.
Yeah, he's already made him sit up for a title fight, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they do some sort of matchmaking in between. Like Arman Tsarukyan, Paddy Pimblett, Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett, something like that in between. But I just don't see Justin Gaethje sitting out and getting this title shot outside of maybe Ilia Topuria. If Ilia Topuria pulls it off, there's no history there. I mean, just bangers on the feet. I could see that happening. But with Charles Oliveira, I don't see that path making sense without another win.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
I can't believe the slander you're throwing on Ilia's name, man. That really is fucking me up.
Hey, we have another exciting fight in the co-main. That is, I think it's going to be a much closer fight than the main event.
Let me give you one more long shot. My pick is Ilia Topuria minus 440. Long shot plus 500 submission.
That's not happening. But I like the long shot. I mean, hey, you took.
I'm talking Islam
I,
Makhachev style, knocks him down, hops on him, chokes him out. Islam Makhachev style, brother. That is the level we're talking about Ilia Topuria. I could see him dropping I could see him dropping Charles, hopping on him, and finding that neck, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen potentially. I guess it's definitely a possibility.
I'm coming back, brother. My lines are back. I am now the leader of Read Between the Lines. I am officially King Supreme around these parts, Brendan. It feels bad. It feels bad. And I'm going to get you again here on Pantoja Kai Kara France because Pantoja has looked fantastic.
Almost unbeatable.
Almost unbeatable, 100%. I mean, has ran through a list and ran through him twice. Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval, just took out Kai Asakura in the most dominant way. Steve Ursig, that was a close fight. Shout out to Steve Ursig. He's had some troubles as of late. But you gotta love him just for his face, man. He just is a friendly face that you like to see. Kai Kara France on the other end, he's had his ups and downs in the UFC too. But one thing that I think is different about this Kai Kara France fight compared to some of the other fights he's had. And I think some of these other guys like Brandon Moreno, I think is a more skilled fighter, but Kai Kara France fucking cracks. I mean, you look at just pure knockouts. Dude's got 12 knockouts on his resume. You look at some other kind of high-end strikers in this division like Brandon Moreno, like Brandon Royval. Those guys got five knockouts, 4 knockouts. Like, Kai Kara France cracks. Dropped Cody Garbrandt, dropped Steve Ursig, had a really good fight against Brandon Moreno, ended up getting kicked in the body and ended up losing that one, but was leading. I think the real spot, first of all, Alexandre Pantoja has shown he's got a freaking master chin. Tough as fuck. But when it gets to the ground, I think that's where things get a little dicey from the stance of Kai Kara France. I really do see this as a... not necessarily because they can both do both, but striker versus wrestling. I think Pantoja has a massive advantage on the ground. I think Kai Kara France, if he can land big, there's a chance. I mean, you never want to say a chance untouchable because we've seen him be touched before. But I think the danger of Kai Kara France on the feet is much higher than it has been in the past for Alexandre Pantoja. What do you feel on this fight?
Yeah, I love this fight. I love Kai Kara France. You couldn't have been more correct about the breakdown and Kai Kara France's troubles as well. If I am Alexandre Pantoja, I'm taking this fight to the ground as soon as possible. If he gets on somebody's back, he doesn't get off. I mean, shout out the Brandon Moreno fight. He basically just sat on his back the whole 5th round. I mean, Alexandre Pantoja looks unbeatable right now. He's plus 225 by submission. That's my pick for this fight.
Yeah, and Kai's shown some decent wrestling defense in the Mir Albazi fight, but I think you're right. It's tough sledding if he gets to the ground just because of the level of Alexandre Pantoja. I'm just taking the under here. I like Pantoja. That would be my pick at minus 245, but I'm just going to take the under at under 3.5 rounds, plus 130. I think it's so obvious either way where Kai Kara France just really puncher's chance. If he can take his head off, then I think he gets it done within 3.5. But more likely, in my mind, Alexandre Pantoja gets on the back somehow and wrestles him out, subs him out.
Yeah, I think Kai Kara France. I think it's. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say a good fight nonetheless. I think it's going to be fireworks for as long as it lasts.
Yeah, I think Kai Kara France is going to be down, 2 rounds and start to feel the pressure a little bit. Definitely going to start making some chances and things like that. And if you're going to make mistakes or leave openings, Pantoja's just going to take them.
Man, that Kai Asakura fight was just brutal. I mean, it just showed the level. And, we don't really know the level of Kai Asakura yet, at least in the UFC, but I can tell you right now, Pantoja's at that fucking level, dog. He is tough. I mean, people were talking about bringing DJ back just to give this guy a challenge. And of course, there's been talks about sending him up to Marab and making that some sort of super fight just because of how dominant both these guys have looked. And he's literally lapping the division at this point. It's really fucking
Yeah, I
impressive what
think
he's been able to do.
after the Sandhagen fight, the Marab versus Pantoja fight makes a ton of sense. Similar styles, similar skill set. They both can crack. They both have a chin. That fight is exciting. Take my money for that.
Oh, yeah. Hanato Moicano, Benil Dariush. This is remade from, I believe, 310. If I'm not mistaken, it's 310 or 311. First fight of the year, January. Hanato Moicano, the boy got pulled out of that fight against lowly Benil Dariush and got sent to the freaking wolves against Islam Makhachev, and it did not go well. I don't, you know, that was 24 hours notice. So I don't take that much away from Hanato Moicano in a fucking massive step up. But the line has shifted from that first fight a little bit. This is a straight up pick me. Minus 105 Hanato Moicano, minus 115 Benil Dariush. The first line was minus 175 Hanato Moicano, plus 195 Benil Dariush. So it shifted a little bit. I think they're putting a little bit more stock into that Islam fight than maybe I am. I looked back at what we said the first time that we talked about this fight, because we did talk about it pre-3, whatever it was. You predicted a finish, didn't think this was going to go to the bell, and you like the under. Do you still feel the same?
Definitely, it's hard not to put stock into the Islam fight. I know it's 24 hours notice, and I know that fight lasted, I don't know, 3 seconds. It just doesn't make you feel very good about Hanato Moicano. I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't, it's hard to even call it a showing. I do think this is going to be a finish. A little bit about this. Benil Dariush needs to get a win. He did fight
bad.
two killers and lost in the first round both times, but he needs a win. Hanato Moicano also needs a win. I think these guys are going to come out swinging. I do give the nod a little bit to Hanato Moicano's chin. The under is 2.5. So definitely taking the under. I want to give the nod to Benil Dariush, but there's definitely going to be fireworks here, and yeah, give me that under.
We just haven't seen. I mean, it's been a long time since he's fought, and the last two times that Benil's fought, he got KO'd. So, I mean, if you think Anato's confidence is low from getting shut out by Islam Makhachev, Benil's not in a good place either. You're right. Both these guys need a win. I'm just taking Anato money line right here, minus 105. But I don't hate the under either.
Makes sense.
Brandon Roy.
We did skip. Oh, okay, good.
All
I
right,
was
go
like, wait,
ahead.
we skipped the fight, and I want to talk about the Brandon Royval Josh Van fight.
I got it in that order. Is that the wrong order?
Oh, I was just looking at ESPN.
Oh, Brandon Royval, Joshua Van, brother. I'm looking at this as like a next up. I mean, we talked about Marab and the fact that he could move up, but Brandon Royval was supposed to be fighting Manel Kape here, which I thought was a clear number one contender fight. Brandon Royval's streaking right now, got a big win over Brandon Moreno, and then a win over Kaya Sakura, not Kaya Sakura, Tatsuro Tara, and probably, I mean, really great performance. Probably one of my favorite fights of last year was that Brandon Royval Tatsuro Tara fight. But Joshua Van, on the other hand, has been freaking hot, and I think he's 23 years old. He's riding a four fight win streak. Again, fought 20 days ago. Fought on the last pay-per-view card. Manel Kape dropped out. Joshua Van stepped in. Both these guys got real crisp hands. I think this is going to be really fun on the feet. When I'm looking at it, it's a big fucking step up from where I mean, if you were just straight matchmaking Joshua Van after that fight, he wasn't going to get Brandon Royval. He probably wasn't going to get top 3. How do you see this one?
No, it definitely wasn't. This is a huge, huge step up. 20-day notice. I don't know how much weight Josh Van cuts. That's definitely something you to look into. I just
He's a smaller
until
guy.
yeah, well, until 6-ish months ago, I wasn't super familiar with the guy's game. But the dude has lightning in his hands. He looks a ton better every time he fights. Even from his last in between the time in between his the fight 2 fights ago and his last fight, his striking took a huge step up. He just looks really, really polished. I love the kid's future. 23 years old. Brandon Royval's just kind of a different animal, man. Brandon
Yeah.
Royval's a ball, like he's a brawler. He's just gonna go at you all the time. A little bit of a split decision merchant as of late. Both those fights could have gone either way. That he did win both split decisions. Uh, I like the kid though. He's got lightning in his hands. He's just something special about a kid from Mara, 23 years old, living the American dream. I'm gonna take Josh Van here by knockout. The kid's
Damn,
surging.
boy.
He's a rocket ship right now. I'm definitely letting my feelings get into it because I
A
love to see a
month
young
ago,
kid.
you picked Bruno Silva.
I know, but I
Josh
have
Van stole
Josh
your heart,
Van
huh?
fever. He
He
did.
stole your
Dude,
heart
he
in that
looks
fight, huh?
so polished.
Dude,
He
he's
looks so
fucking good.
polished.
He's good.
He's a rocket ship.
I was actually surprised to see this line. I mean, this is another pick 'em fight, -102, -118. I was really surprised that it was that tight, just because of the fact that Joshua Van's so young and his last fight was 20 days ago, and this is such a step up. I was surprised to see the line. I'm going to take Brandon Royval. I feel relatively confident in that. I just think his length, his speed, his pressure, and his output, I think it's going to be a banger. I think it's going to go to the bell, but I think it's just a little too early, too fast for Josh Van, and especially on that quick turnaround. But fuck, I love to hear this. I love to hear this love for Josh Van because he has been very exciting. And I'm a big fan. I just think it might be tough
It's a
circumstances for
huge
the
step
kid.
up. Everything you said is right, and everything you say is logical. Normally, I'm a little bit of like the logical guy, bet with my head, not my heart, and things like that. Josh Fan has full on stolen my heart. I mean, the kid just gets so much fucking better in between every fight. I like his hands, man. The kid's got a bright future.
His hands are gorgeous. That's undoubtable. Do you see this as a number one contender fight?
I think Brandon Moreno's the number one contender in this division. I don't know, I don't know exactly where this weight's going because, Pantoja is fucking beat everyone and beat him pretty handily. Uh, I'm not crazy about Cop either, so I would hate to say that that's a number one contender fight. But I think the winner of this either does get a title shot or gets Brandon Moreno.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I'd love to see it. Just Josh Van is. It's so his rise has been so fast. I mean, 23 years old. I'd love. There's so many
Hard not to
fights I'd
love
like to
it.
see. There's so like him versus and his striking so crisp. Him versus Brandon Moreno would be a fantastic fight. I think this Royval fight's going to be fantastic. Kai Car friend Steve Urseg is who I was kind of pegging. A Josh Van Steve Urseg fight. I think probably would have been a more realistic like if they weren't making a short notice fight here. I thought that could be a good fight for Josh Van coming off of his last one. But there's so many fun fights for this kid, and he really is. He really is a star.
I think
Speaking of
short
stars,
notice actually. Sorry, I think short notice does Josh Van good. Some points you're too young to and less experienced to not get wrapped up in shit. And you're just a rocket ship. You're a kid. You're 23 years old. The lights can be too bright, but I think him being young, this being on short notice, I think that actually does him some favors.
he's shown up on the biggest stages. I mean, his fight at the Sphere with Edgar Charas. I mean, a banger of a fight. That was another short notice fight, and I mean, just a back and forth brawl. He showed off a little bit of wrestling in that fight. Super fun. I don't think the lights are going to be too bright for the boy, but I do think Raw Dog's going to be a little bit too much. Speaking of stars, are you still on the Payton Talbott train? Or has the train left the station? Payton Talbott taking on Felipe Lima, who's a hard guy to find fights on, at least in the UFC. He's only had two of them. I got UFC Fight Pass, and it's playing fucking games with me. Supposed to have the biggest fight library, but all of a sudden, Felipe Lima, the one time that I'm trying to figure out who the fuck this guy is, I can barely watch a fight. I did see his UFC debut where he fought up a weight class short notice at 145 instead of 135 and put on a pretty impressive performance for what it was. Mixes it up real well. Loves throwing a little flying knee in there. I noticed that about the kid. Loves just chucking up some flying knees, which is kind of fun, but can definitely wrestle. Got a submission in that one. His next fight, something Johns, he went to the bell with, but I think it was relatively dominant. Had about 3 minutes of control time there. Payton Talbott coming off of a loss. to Barcelos. How do you feel about the kid? You still riding, or were you ever riding?
Dude,
I don't even know.
I love Payton Talbot.
Okay, fuck yeah.
Just another young kid, rocket ship. But this is not a good matchup for him, man. He looked not good in his last fight. He's gonna have to make really, really large improvements in the grappling game, and it's hard to make those large strides when you're not doing the simple, easy stuff. Defending takedowns kind of correctly. A little bit like Buckley in the Usman fight. Like Buckley in the first several rounds wasn't doing the small stuff correctly. Going to a more split stance, things like that to help defend the grappling. I love Payton Talbot. He's a future superstar, but this is a brutal, brutal, brutal fight. I don't want to not take Payton Talbot, but I'm gonna go Lima. As much as I love Payton Talbot, he's a future superstar. It's just he's not that far off from getting his ass whooped in the wrestling game. I could be wrong here. I hope I am. But I just don't see him making those large strides this quickly in the grappling game.
I'm riding with the boy. Plus 154, give it to me. I'll take it. Felipe Lima, I agree with you. A tough fucking matchup. Felipe Lima was supposed to be here, but he was supposed to be fighting for a top 15 spot against Jonathan Martinez. That fight fell out. I don't know what happened to Jonathan Martinez, but Payton Talbot stepped up. I'd argue this is a tougher matchup, just skill for skill, than the Barcelos fight. But I think the thing that Barcelos had that Felipe Lima doesn't is he's just got that freaking he's just a vet. He knows how to. I think his game plan in that fight was to take Payton Talbot down, and I think Felipe Lima's going to think to have the same game plan. I think he's going to try that early. But when you're young like Felipe Lima is, you're only 3 fights in the UFC, you got a guy like Payton Talbot, which is a dude that you can make a name off of. I think he might try to stand and bang, and I think that might be the end of him. Payton Talbot is lights out on the feet. He has got brutal power, especially for this division. And I hope to see a little bit of better technique in his wrestling. I hope to see that. If he can stuff a couple takedowns, I think he's all game on the feet. He's a big dude for
You
this
changed my
class
mind.
too, plus
Payton
154.
Talbot. I'm picking Payton Talbot. You changed my mind. The first flip that you've ever had me do. Give
Let's
me
go,
Payton
I
Talbot.
told
I
you.
can't think against the kid. I can't do it. I can't. Payton Talbot's incredible. He's so skilled. He's so much more skilled than Felipe Lima. He's young. He knows the mistakes he made. Give me Payton Talbot plus 154.
King Supreme. I told you I'm King Supreme on this show. Just flipping bets over here. I'm doing it all this show.
I know.
Come on. You got to ride with Payton Talbot. Plus 154. I mean, when do you get Payton Talbot at plus money? He's coming off of a tough loss. We can admit that. But a vet, a dude that just beat fucking Cody Garbrandt. Not that Cody Garbrandt's got a ton of life left in him, but Heine Barcelos is on a run right now. This guy might be nasty.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. He can wrestle. Cody Garbrandt's fucking ass, but yeah, I mean, Cody Garbrandt just wants to be Sean O'Malley so fucking bad. Like, we get it, bro.
When he popped out with the cornrows, I was like, "What the fuck's going on, guy?" In the new face tattoo,
And the pot leaf on his knee. Like, what do we do? Oh, that's a you. No shout out to Cody Garbrandt from me. Retire.
Dude, you guys share a name. This is beautiful.
Yeah, that's embarrassed. I almost changed my name.
I don't think there's any
like, what
Brads. Oh, that's a lie. Brad Tavares, Brad Riddell. I'm gonna start riding with the Brads. I'm gonna start riding with the Brads around the UFC. We need some better ones to roll up, but I'm gonna start riding with the Brads, brother. Yeah, Payton Talbot. I'm gonna stay on the train until I'm proved otherwise. I guess I just got proved otherwise in the previous fight, but I'm back on the train. All aboard, brother. We're going to the Polar Express.
The Polar Express, indeed.
What else do you see on this fight card that you like?
I like the opening fight. Obviously, I'm not too familiar with these guys' games, but undefeated fighter versus another undefeated fighter is very exciting. I do believe it's 2 UFC debuts, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't see anything.
Christopher Ewart and Jack McGavey. They opened the fight. Two dudes that Jackson McGavey has 5 fights or 6 fights, 6 finishes. In I think I mean just not means not yeah the LFA. Coming out of there. Versus I'm sorry I just don't want to say shit wrong. Former champ from the OFL. Two guys that have almost 100% finish rate. It should be a fucking banger for two UFC debuts to open the card up. One of the reasons I love this card so much.
Did you see Sadiq Chris, who was supposed to be at the bottom, like one of the opening fights? His fight got canceled because he couldn't get his ankle monitor off.
I did not see that. That's fucking
It just happened earlier
hilarious,
in the
though.
week. Yeah, he's got an ankle
Dude, I
monitor
mean,
and he couldn't get in front of the judge, and his fight got. I mean, or else he'd be in the cage with just a fucking beeper on his leg.
yeah, I mean, I don't see why they couldn't work around that. People used to be able to fight in wrestling shoes, they just couldn't kick. I mean, just don't let the kid kick or some shit. I don't know. I feel like if there's going to be an organization that could work around that, it should be the UFC.
I'm just surprised that they didn't plan a little bit better ahead. I mean, it's not
It's
like he
terrible
didn't.
planning.
I didn't. It's not like he didn't know this fight was coming up. But apparently, he couldn't get into the judge until they said Thursday, which I didn't think made any sense because that's tomorrow. If you can get it off tomorrow, fucking show up. But who knows? I just thought that was a funny one on this card.
Yeah.
I
Tracy
can't see the rest
Cortez
of the
also
card.
on this
Oh,
card.
okay. I was gonna say I can't see the rest of this card. So if you got any hot ones, and speaking of hot ones, Tracy Cortez shouts out.
Dude, yeah. Shout out Grace Vibes, dude. She's got me stumbling my words. She's so beautiful. Yeah, she needs a win. Tracy Cortez needs to get back to doing her thing. She is minus 260 in this fight against Vivian Araujo, or however the fuck you say her last name.
Yeah.
I hope to see Tracy get a W,
Another
but
one on
I
here
just had to
was
give Tracy a shout out.
Terrence McKinney, and I'm never going to pronounce his name without reading it. Some Russian guy.
Yeah, what is that?
Fun fighter. Take the under. I mean, anytime you see a Terrence McKinney fight, I'm sure the under is minus money, but pull that under. Terrence McKinney is kill or be killed, first round only. And the other guy that he's fighting had a really fucking fun fight with Chase Hooper, and he's been in some wars. They're gonna bang. I know that. There's some real bangers on this card.
How are we gonna talk about Tracy Cortez, and then you're gonna say they're gonna bang? Like, don't get me going like that, my guy. But no, that should be a very, very exciting fight. Yeah, I hope to see fireworks. But the feature prelim, Jack Hermanson, Gregory Rodriguez.
RoboCop.
That should also be a fun one. That should also be a fun one. You don't see Jack Hermanson plus money very often, so that's very interesting.
I'm pretty sure RoboCop just got knocked out by Jared Cannonier too. But
Happens to the best of us.
yeah, he's had some good fights as of recent though. Jack Hermanson, I think, has been out since the Joe Pyfer fight, if I'm not mistaken. So good to see him back in the octagon. That has to be a year and a half ago at this point. But a big win.
Yep,
I mean, you get a win over Joe Pyfer, you still fucking got it, don't you? Because that dude fucking cracks.
Shout out Joe Pipe and the hair plugs.
Yeah.
Some exciting fights down the road though coming up.
I was just about to bring that up. We got some fight announcements. Diego Lopez versus Jon Silva. That's going to be a fight night, Mexico City, UFC Noche. I think that all but confirms. I think all the pieces at featherweight have finally been sorted out. It looks like we are going to get Yair versus Volk. We are getting Mozart versus Pico. That also got announced. I don't know if we talked about that last time or not. But then Diego Lopez, Jon Silva. I'm a little bit disappointed because I did want that Diego Lopez Yair Rodriguez fight, just because the last press conference, these guys were at each other's fucking throats. And also, it seems perfect for Noche. I mean, Diego Lopez is Brazilian. Yair Rodriguez, obviously Mexican, but Diego Lopez also fights out of a Mexican fight camp. And Yair used to date. I saw some translations of their beef at that press conference, and I think somehow Alexa Grasso is wrapped into it. Yair used to date her, maybe some beef back and forth. It felt like there was some fireworks there, but if there's one guy that brings fireworks, it's Jon Silva. That should be a certified fucking banger. How do you see that playing out?
Diego Lopez moved to Mexico at a young age. Does fight out of a I can't remember what that fight that gym's called. A fucking awesome fight. I mean, I'm thrilled to have it. I also did selfishly want the Yair Rodriguez Diego Lopez fight, just because. I mean, the translator that does an amazing job in the octagons when he has to translate all the different languages, just trying to
Oh,
translate
so
their
funny.
argument. I could watch that all day, every day. That was incredible. I feel bad for the guy because I don't speak any other languages, and he's trying to just decipher it. Two guys just screaming at each
Screaming at
other.
each other.
Incredible. Incredible. That I mean, it's a really, really, really exciting fight. I don't know why Alexa Grasso got wrapped into that. She did, but I kind of feel bad for the chick. Um, I mean, but the John Silva fight. I mean, the dude is just on. He's on a different level. He's a
It's hard to
weird
pick
fucking
against him.
guy. He's a weird, weird guy. It is hard to pick against him, but Diego Lopez is a completely different animal than anybody John Silva's fought. I'm gonna go ahead and take Diego Lopez. I don't know what that line is offhand, but that should be
I
a
didn't look it up.
spectacular fight. John Silva under over 1.5 times he cries before or after the fight. Give me the over.
Uh, John Silva is just, I mean, he's literally such a character, but the dude fucking cracks, man. Speaking of guys cracking, the dude cracks. Diego Lopez does too. I think I'd love to see, John Silva hasn't really been tested on the ground like Diego Lopez can test him. Bryce Mitchell tried it, but Bryce Mitchell is not Diego Lopez, not even close to the same level. I mean, yeah. I think the only person that took him down was Charles Jourdain, which again is not the same level as Diego Lopez. I'd like to see what his level is on the ground. I don't really even think he needs it in this division. Most of the guys are strikers, but outside of Mosar, speak of the devil. Should be a really fun one. The other one we got was Nasruddin Imavov versus Caio Bahayo. You see that one come through the grapevine?
I heard rumors. I didn't see it was officially announced.
Tis official. That's going to be on I think that's going to be on 319. It should be on the Hamzat Chimaev versus DDP card, if I'm not mistaken, which makes a ton of sense because both at 185. So potentially setting up could potentially be a number one contender fight. Nasruddin Imavov's coming off of an Israel Adesanya win. Caio Bahayo is coming off of a Jared Cannonier win. But this fight felt destined. I didn't think Nasruddin is one of those guys. I think he's got to take the long road in. He just hasn't been super exciting on the mic. I don't think he's got a huge fan base around him. Caio Bahayo, on the other hand, kind of the leader of the fighting nerds. So it feels like a big spot for two young guys rising up that 185-pound division. I love that fight.
Yeah, shout out to Fighting Nerds. I completely forgot John Silva fights for the Fighting Nerds. Go ahead and give me John Silva. I mean, I don't know when the last time those motherfuckers lost.
Carlos
Those guys are
Prates.
fucking yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's their
Regardless,
only
if I was in
loss.
the UFC, yeah, if I was in the UFC, I would be going down to Brazil immediately and doing whatever the fuck the Fighting Nerds are doing. It's absolutely incredible. That's a really, really exciting fight. Unfortunately, an Israel Adesanya win doesn't mean what it used to, which is sad. Everybody loves Izzy. I love Izzy. Um, Kyle's a different animal, man. Though that kid's young, he's extremely athletic, terrible tattoos, just
I
a
like
great
his
guy.
tattoos. Free
This
spirit
he's
across the
the guy
neck.
that
That's tough.
yeah. I mean, it's something. Um, I love Kyle. Nazardine, he is what it is. He's great. Don't get me wrong. Just not as exciting as Kyle. Yeah, probably gonna take Kyle in that fight.
Was there any other fight announcements you saw that I'm missing? Those are the two big ones I had.
I don't really, obviously some main events that we're gonna talk about later down the road. But dude, feels good again to be a UFC fan. After that fight night, I was a little bit worried. I was like, this fucking sucks.
Well, don't forget that the UFC's coming to Nashville next week with Derek Lewis and Talasant Teixeira. So don't worry, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's on that card. I think co-main event, so you should be all right.
We'll get in that. I mean, you got to be at least 35 to go there.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ. $400 to watch Derek Lewis fight. No, thank you.
Is that really what it is?
Yes. For
Like
nosebleed.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
People are right.
No
The
thanks.
UFC's the tickets are getting out of control. I have like a skewed vision of UFC tickets because 2 fights that I've been to. One was a Conor McGregor fight. I paid out my fucking dick to get into that fight, but that's just Conor McGregor. I think my ticket was like fucking $2,000. Yeah, but he also broke his leg. It was a real fucking bummer. It was a real bummer all over the place. Dustin
Oh, so it was
Poirier
Conor
versus
McGregor
Conor
and Dustin
McGregor
Poirier?
3.
Yeah. Oh shit. Speaking of Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor in January.
I mean, if you're Michael Chandler at this point, you might as fucking well. Because what else? I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
either that or Mauricio Rufy, who's Conor
No thanks.
McGregor. That's 10 years younger. Um, so yeah, I think Michael. I think at this point in his career, it makes a lot more sense to wait. Obviously, you don't. At the same time, you've been through it once and it didn't play through. So I don't. If he wants to keep fighting and wants to be active, it's scary getting a Conor fight. I mean, Conor McGregor just got fucking popped for punching some dude in a fucking bar 2 weeks ago.
Conor McGregor loves punching people in public. It's his favorite fucking thing to do. I mean, what was it, like 5 years ago he punched that old man?
Oh yeah,
Conor McGregor loves punching people. It's his
still doing
favorite
it.
fucking thing.
We should try doing it in the UFC. That'd be fucking awesome to see. I'd love to see him do
Oh
it
yeah.
under the lights inside the cage, man. Not just in a fucking nightclub in Ibiza.
Oh my god. Yeah, I would love if Conor would start trying to punch people in the UFC again. I used to love watching him punch people in the UFC. But if I'm Michael Chandler, I don't want anything to do with that roofie fight. Fuck
Fuck that.
that.
I 100% agree with that. Jon Jones retired. Save your
Yeah,
ass, because I know you're a Jon Jones rider, and we know Tom Aspinall was about to walk through him, just embarrass him and
God.
crush his fucking legacy. And that's,
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
how lucky is it that Jon Jones retired, man? For you, for yourself, so you
Oh
didn't have
my
to hop on
god.
this program and pick Jon Jones when Tom Aspinall was gonna steamroll the boy.
Brad, you just love putting our friendship in jeopardy every time I come on here. You're just like, I'm just kidding. Fucking, yeah. I heard today that the rumor is he was drunk with the Nelk boys, and people kept bringing up Tom Aspinall, and he stormed out of a party and was in his feels and drunked out Dana and retired. That's what the story is.
I mean, a fight wasn't gonna happen, to be honest with you, brother. If it was gonna happen, it would have happened 7 fucking months ago.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how real the retirement is. I think, dude, if I'm Jon Jones, I'm like hunting the Francis Ngannou fight, just because he just beats the fuck out of Francis Ngannou, and then he can be like, yeah, cool. I'm Jon Jones. I just made $10 million to fight Francis Ngannou in the fucking PFL.
Yeah, the problem with both of the, I agree that would be a fantastic fight, and it was a fight that they tried to make the first time that Jon Jones came, or when he originally came up to heavyweight. The problem with it is Jon Jones is on. I think he's got 6 fights left on his contract in the UFC, so he's stuck. He's 100% stuck, and the UFC is pretty tight about letting people go. Um, for example, Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor could have been in 100. He could have been in a fight with Logan Paul in fucking India for 150 mil, and he couldn't do it. Uh, so Jon Jones is stuck. Francis Ngannou's in the same situation with the PFL. I don't know how many fights. I think he's only got 1 fight left on his contract, but he's so intertwined with them at this point where he runs like PFL Africa. He's pretty well stuck there too. PFL's a little bit more lenient on letting him do other shit, mainly because they have nobody for him to fight. But I think Jon Jones is just stuck, and it kind of sucks. I was telling this to my buddy the other day. I was like, I mean, he's got like that's another guy like Francis who went out and picked up just massive checks boxing and shit like that. What Jon Jones wants right now is cold hard cash with little risk, in my mind. Cold hard
Yeah,
cash
I
with
mean, I
little
think Tom
risk.
Aspinall would have been pretty low risk.
No.
Tom Aspinall, not even close to as good as Jon Jones.
But he could definitely, like, if Francis Ngannou can get a Tyson Fury fight or an Anthony Joshua fight, Jon Jones could get the same thing and pick up those $100 million bags. But unfortunately, he's
Yeah,
still
you're
under
just gonna have
contract
to
with
cut.
UFC and he's certified fucked.
Yeah, he'd have to cut it in Uncle Dana, and I don't even know how that would fucking work now. Like,
It won't.
no idea, no idea.
Maybe
If Conor
maybe turkey
McGregor
out
can't fight,
shake, but probably not.
maybe, maybe he could fight. I mean, he doesn't want to fight in bare knuckle. Conor owns bare knuckle, and Dana loves Conor, but John isn't gonna want to fight in bare knuckle.
UFC's not going to
Yeah,
cross
no, I'm
promote. That's the thing about it. They're not going to cross promote. There's no reason for them
not
to.
anymore.
It's the
Not anymore.
benefit to the other. It's so much of a benefit to the other promotion. Bare knuckles a little, definitely not the PFL. They're never going to give them that light. Bare knuckles a little bit different because it's kind of a different avenue, but not really. You know,
Power slap. Will Francis Ngannou, Jon Jones, power slap.
Oh, that'd be fucking insane, brother. What do you think about power slap? Speak of the devil.
I think people that do it are fucking stupid, but I love to watch it. I mean, the clips, anybody who doesn't like a power slap clip, I'm like, are you good? Are you alive?
I could never imagine, like, I've never watched, like, a full show, just, like, on YouTube or whatever the case may be, but I bet that live is fucking ridiculous. I bet it's crazy live.
Just speaking of Logan Paul, go ahead.
That was pretty much
Logan
dudes slap each other in the face.
Speaking of Logan Paul, he was like 5 years ago. He was supposed to go to Russia and be how the power slap started. That. Yeah, fight the Russian dude. What's his name? Fucking
Meatball or something.
Dumpling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dumpling's like running power slap right now. So I mean, good for him. Before we do get off, quick shout out to Kasparas Yakinchonis and Will Riley, both going to get drafted. Shout out Illinois basketball. They're both going to get drafted in about 5 minutes.
Cooper Flag, #1 to the Mavericks. You think anything wild's going to happen?
No. I mean, they can't fuck that up or else their GM's fucking host. So.
Who's your squad? Do you have an NBA squad?
I know. I mean, being a St. Louis sports fan is, like, brutal right now because, I mean, actually it's kind of cool right now, but, like, the Rams left. So, like, it's still hard. Oh, yeah.
Respect. You just got Devontae Adams. That's a big pickup. Matthew
should be sweet.
Old squad. Puka Nacua, don't sleep. Potentially Jalen Ramsey coming your way. Don't sleep.
I wouldn't be upset if he wanted to come back. I would not be upset. But no, cool.
Cool.
It's always a fun time.
Fucking episode. No freaking time crunch here. We're on a new platform, Discord, baby. Come on. Cody Hooper put me through the freaking ringer here. Let me know there's other options out there. I don't know how long this was. Could be in anything. 54 minutes. Holy shit. We're running game right now, dog. What a time to be alive. An absolute pleasure having you on the show. I'll see you come, 3/18. Who's headlining that? I don't know. His name is Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway.
Yeah. Dustin Poirier wins that fight. He doesn't retire and fights for the belt.
I thought Justin Gaethje was fighting for the belt. You already slipping on your boy?
After Justin Gaethje, of course.
Good to see you. That's never going to happen. Peace, love, and see you on the next one, brother.